Welcome to episode 304 of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel. I'm your host, Terry, and today, talking about Andy Dalton and the Russell Wilson trade and all that good stuff. How y'all doing, Bears fan? I miss y'all, man. I miss y'all, even though I just recorded. But we in this together. I used to say this a lot early on, but I think I need to say it more. We all want the Bears to win. Ain't that the goal? I know we gonna disagree on how to get there, but we all want to get to the same place. That's what I thought. We all Bears fans. Just because someone don't agree with your method don't mean they want the Bears to lose. So there's that. So we could debate, but in the end of the day, we all Bears fans. And, you know, especially being a Bears fan, we got to support each other because it's tough out here. So the first thing I want to talk about with the Andy Dalton signing. There's two things that I didn't really mention that I see going around a lot that kind of annoys me. Number one, people talking about all the alternatives as far as, well, you could have did this and that. Now, this is fans, but this is also talking head sports media as well. And again, Dalton wasn't my choice. I never even had him on my radar. If it's me, that's not who I would have picked. But at the same time, people have to realize that you don't know what went on behind the scenes. I hear people say all the time, you chose to get Dalton instead of getting, whoever, Jameis Winston. You chose to sign Andy Dalton instead of signing Tyrod Taylor. Like, as if this is not Madden. This is not, hey, like, if we want to get you, we're going to get you. That's not how that works. You don't know if they had a discussion with those people. And B, even if they did, you don't know what that discussion was like. Maybe they said 10 million is not enough. I want 15 million. Maybe they said, no, I don't want to play for Chicago. Or they told the agent, I don't want to take any of those calls. You don't know what it is. People go directly to assuming, well, they like terrible quarterbacks and also they don't like spending money. First of all, you can't complain about Andy, how much he got, and then also call him cheap. Like, come on now. The fact is there's people that made more than Andy. There's some people that made less. And again, some people act as if it's just about who they thought was better. That's not always the case. That's not always the case. Like, if you're the Jets and you're a Jets fan and you're like, okay, Russell Wilson puts that 4 teams out. I don't care what and then let's say you traded Sam Darnold and whatever. Let's just say you got the kid from BYU, Zach Wilson, and they were like, well, you chose him over Russell Wilson. Or is that whatever his name is from BYU? Like, you chose him over Russell Wilson? Like, no, Russell wasn't an option. And so I just had a comment before I started not too long ago saying that people aren't mad about Russ Wilson, obviously. No, it's not obvious because it's obvious they are. Not everybody is, but there's lots of people that are like, well, we didn't even try to get Russ. Or we chose that over Russ, and that's how all the media is framing it. And that's not the case. We didn't choose Andy Dalton over Russ. And to the point that they have to put out articles saying, hey, Ryan Pace did try to get Russ Wilson. Like, bro, what, really? Y'all really, I get it. Y'all don't like Pace. Y'all don't like Nagy. You want something different. You don't like the own, whatever. But to sit here and just connect dots that only confirm your own bias. Like, there's plenty of things I don't like about the Bears, but I'm not going to sit here and just jump to conclusions that fit my narrative. To sit here and say, well, they looked at Russ Wilson and said, well, Andy Dalton's better. No, they didn't do that. And so the rest of it, I don't think that there is a crazy conversation. You talking about Alex Smith and his injuries versus Andy Dalton. You talk about Tyrod Taylor losing his starting spot and Andy Dalton. You talk about Jacoby Brissett, whoever. Again, Andy wouldn't be my pick, but to sit here and act like this we talking about Tom Brady is ridiculous. Like, these are all just very journeyman quarterbacks at this point. And so Yeah, that wouldn't have been my pick, but still to sit here and say that, oh, you just passed up these quarterbacks to get Andy Dalton, that's not true. Secondly, the whole trade part I talked a little bit about last time, but I think some people are acting as if this is the starter. And as I said in the last episode, that if we roll into the season and that's all we got is Foles and Dalton, then yeah, I'll be on the floor with you. But it's too premature. We don't know what could happen. Like, as much as I don't think Russ or Deshaun getting traded, that stuff still could unfold. Obviously, the draft can unfold. Tua is very potentially on the market. Sam Darnold is still on the market. Like, again, to me, when you bring in a veteran like that, I think it's Tua or it's a rookie. But there's still other things that can happen. So until we know the full plan, I'm not going to sit here and panic. And people do that every offseason. They start overreacting to everything. So those are the two things that got me. Now, as far as the trade, the news that came out today, besides they were offering a trade, which we knew. Like, to me, it's crazy how people got hyped about the Bears and the trade buzz for Russ Wilson, and then consequently got upset because we didn't get Russell Wilson, and you were disappointed based off the hype you saw, and then blamed Ryan Pace for not trying to get Russ Wilson. The only reason you got hyped in the first place is because you heard they was trying to get Russ Wilson. So anyway, obviously that's not true. They tried. Some of the details that are being reported is that the trade was something like 3 first-round picks, 2 third-round picks, and 2 starters. The picks, I mean, first of all, the deal itself is ridiculous. And as much as I would like Russ Wilson, I don't think I'm trading the farm. And I wouldn't let Ryan Pace or Nagy trade the farm. But again, as I mentioned, even a long time ago, if you were going to do that, Russ Wilson would be the type, because even if you fire Nagy and Pace, you're going to keep Russ Wilson. So that's a lot. But the one part that got me interested was the 2 starters. So I was like, okay, let's speculate. I don't know. I obviously don't have no inside details, but I was like, let's speculate. Who were the starters that they were going to trade? So to me, one of the biggest issues with the Bears as a trade partner for any major move, especially the Seahawks, is that they didn't have a quarterback. And one of the reports is that the Seahawks' biggest hesitation of trading Russ is that they don't see a clear replacement for him. Now, when you bring the Bears into the situation, you really don't have no options. I mean, you look at the Cowboys before Dak signed, there's that. You look at the Raiders, Mariota and Derek Carr. You look at the Saints, Jameis Winston potentially, Taysom Hill, whatever. We look at us, Mitch Trubisky, we don't even have him. He's a free agent, and he wasn't going to sign nothing with us, maybe to do a sign and trade, but he's a free agent. And you got Nick Foles. Neither of them is someone that people want. So we didn't really have anything to offer in the quarterback realm. And so it had to be strong somewhere else. So then what does the Seahawks need? I mean, well, I should say this. What big name do we got on the offense that would interest? Allen Robinson. That's probably the biggest. Now, we trade Russ Wilson and have 3 good receivers but no quarterback. Doesn't make sense to me. And he's on a franchise tag, which you can do a sign and trade. Don't make sense. David Montgomery, young running back. Chris Carson's in free agent. Is David Montgomery better than Chris Carson? I don't know. He's way healthier. So there's that. But again, we bring in a running back and no quarterback. I don't know. O-line. We not a strong unit of ours. The only one of interest, Cody Whitehair. Okay, he's a good interior lineman. Now, does Russ Wilson go to a team that just traded their best lineman? I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. And who is Cody Whitehair protecting when Seattle don't have no quarterback? I don't know. So offense, I think, is pretty much ruled out. So then you go over to the defensive side. And I go back to the question, what is it that Seattle needs? Like, yes, they need an O-line, but we don't really got that. They'll need a quarterback to replace Russ. We don't really got that. So then defensively, you lose Shaq. Might it be Kyle Fuller? Maybe. But what do they really need that they sorely miss? Pressure, edge pressure specifically. And coverage as well, but edge pressure. So obviously you'll go to one person, Khalil Mack. You think about the cap numbers and what the cap hit would be. You think about Khalil Mack. Robert Quinn's about to, no, he's still under contract, but you think about Khalil Mack. So Khalil Mack has to be my number one candidate. To even really intrigue them. Again, the only person of star power on the offensive side would be Allen Robinson. That don't really make sense to me. But the next name I would have to think would be Khalil Mack to start interesting. Okay, well, maybe if we got Khalil, I don't think they're going to go back and get Clowney, but maybe if they got Khalil, I don't know who else all the people they went and got last year's free agents, but Khalil, maybe he'll be a starter. Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner, we got 3 levels. Okay. So then who would be the other piece? I know a lot of people want to say Akeem Hicks, and look, their interior in Seattle is okay. Nothing better than Akeem Hicks. So, okay, yeah, they could probably want Akeem Hicks. I think so. And safety-wise, you got Jamal Adams. Wouldn't you love to have Eddie Jackson, too? You got Jamal Adams in the box. Wouldn't you love to have Eddie Jackson in the back end, patrolling the middle of the field? Eddie Jackson, who you at the time made the highest paid safety. Eddie Jackson, who wasn't exactly stellar last year. I don't think so. I don't think the Bears would do that. It is definitely potential, but I don't think they would do that. I don't think you touch Roquan. He's a young stud. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think anybody is off limits. I just doubt it was Eddie Jackson or Roquan. But I'm going to be honest with you. It might have been Kyle Fuller. You losing Shaq Griffin. You knew you weren't bringing him back. Kyle Fuller definitely signed a friendly deal at the time that he signed it. So the money's not bad. I think you were looking at potentially Kyle Fuller and Khalil Mack. That'd be my guess, because now you really fortify a little bit more on the defensive side. You hopefully think you're bringing in some type of pressure. And so now you could do what Pete Carroll wants to do on offense, which is focus on the run game. That would probably be my guess as to who they might have been offering up. Obviously, they didn't take the trade is as attractive as some people think it is. But I think to even get it to be a consideration, and the report is it was up in the air right up until before they signed Andy Dalton. And I think to even get it a consideration, you would have had to get them some bona fide starters. Not just a starter that starts for us, but a bona fide starter. So my guess would have been Khalil Mack and Kyle Fuller, if I had to say. So anyway, that's it for me. Go down to the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.